This episode of Sessions with Stef is brought to you by our partner, Fearless Sounds. Francesca Sacerdoti, along with her amazing team, take care of every artist's needs when it comes to marketing, playlist placement, advertising, and artist management. You can follow Fearless Sounds on Instagram and Facebook, or just give them a call at 514-409-6061. Thank you, Francesca, and thank you, Fearless Sounds. And now, we present to you our latest session with Stef. So you know it's going to start off with a shot. And you know what's crazy? I just asked the guest, I said, play a little bit while I do the introduction. I forgot that my introduction is having a shot. Salud.
Salud.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is a musician's podcast. Sessions with Stef, guys. Welcome back to another session.
That is good.
It is good, right? We've got more in the bottle, so.
That's new to me, but I'm
Is
down
it new?
with it. Yeah.
You're a musician.
Yeah, I haven't really drank brandy. Is that it?
I think it is. Yeah,
haven't
XO
had
brand.
much
Yeah.
of that. Whew.
It's quite historical on
Your
this
vocals are gonna
podcast.
start coming out like all over the place.
I'll have that rasp
Yeah.
if I didn't have it before.
So, guys, welcome to another Sessions with Stef. I'm so glad to do this. This is a musician podcast, hence the drinks. If you're a musician in the city, especially, we always have a drink or two or three. It makes us play better and it makes us sound better if you drink it. So that's the whole.
And some people it makes them think better.
That's it. Yeah, right. Hi, Lisa. How you doing? She's
Hey.
behind. She's manning things there. She's the Google behind. She's all the research. That
I'm
goes
the Google
on. I don't know.
Googler.
Research. I talk like we're
The producer.
a fucking important, like a podcast, like that we actually work and we got a researcher and a producer and we
She's
do
got
it.
a big screen.
She's
so-
got a big screen, right? I figured.
I love it. With
You,
lots
you
of
gotta look the
squares.
part, so we bought a big screen to make it look like the part. It's all about that.
Bigger.
So, Madame Producer.
Yes.
We're gonna do I have a really awesome guest, guys. You see the guitars in hand. You know there's gonna be a performance with that. We're gonna talk about his career. He's a fantastic musician, a great singer, a great songwriter. I will be introducing him soon. Right after I do this whole podcast sponsorship segment, which is very important because we love you guys. This is what makes me come every week. Well, besides the musicians.
Oh, no,
and
anyway.
yeah, that was dirty.
Take two.
Sporca, look at that. Look at
He
you
got
see?
it too.
We're there's two guys and the girl comes up with that idea, right?
You thought of it. You see?
Well, he thought it once you brought it up.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes me come down to this area of the city to do a podcast with friends and people I've just met, which is great. But the sponsors, guys, thank you so much for sponsoring. We really appreciate it. We make it. You guys make us keep going and enjoying it more. More money, more candy. Anyway, so I'd like to start off with the first sponsor, which Ross Padula, my buddy from Gusto Restaurant. Thank you so much. St. Leonard. We were talking about St. Leonard. He's on Jarry Street next to Milano. We all know where Milano's as well. It's a couple doors down from Milano's. It's Gusto Pizzeria. Sorry. It's a phenomenal restaurant. I've played there. I have eaten there. I've went to parties there for work. And the food has always been good. Staff is friendly, amazing. Service is great. Ross, who's the owner, amazing. You can call them for your parties. You can have baptism, communion, whatever you want. You want to throw a party, you go there. Food's taken care of. Pizza, pasta. I mean, their pizzas are amazing. Their pastas are amazing. Their meats are fantastic. Really top-notch restaurant. You got to go check it out. Lisa is going to give you the exact address on Jarry. It is
5152 Rue Jarry Est in St. Leo.
in St. Leonard. You can call them. I don't know if they do delivery. I'm sure they probably have Uber Eats or that kind of thing.
RestoMontreal.ca.
RestoMontreal.ca. Perfect. And you can call them to book your parties at
514-326-5184.
Fantastic. Gusto Pizzeria. Thank you so much. Keep sponsoring, man. And we're going to have the end of session party.
There you go.
We're going to do it at Gusto Pizzeria.
Woohoo!
So thank you so much, guys. Our next sponsor, and we had him on last podcast as well, I believe, it's Van Cropsel Real Estate. So if you're in the market for real estate, you got to buy a house, you got to sell a house, or you just want to know about the market, he's the guy to call. He's fantastic. Residential, commercial. I'm sure he does it all. Anything in the real estate business, he's been doing it for years. He works great. Super nice guy. It's Van Cropsel. He works with Remax. Guys, you know what? It's such a pain in the ass when you have to buy and sell a house. there's so many things you need to think of. You need an agent. If you try doing it without an agent, it really sucks. Like there's so many things you don't know. You can lose so much money. Real estate agents, Van Cropsel will get you best bang for the buck. He'll tell you what to list your house at. He'll tell you what to purchase, how to purchase it, how to go about it, all the paperwork, all the legalities. He's the guy for you. So Van Cropsel, give him a call. His number is
438-402-9471.
fantastic.
Or
His email.
His email is vanc@remax-quebec.com. And he also has a website, vancropsel.com.
Fantastic, guys. Check him out. Real estate needs. Van Cropsel's the guy for you. Pizza. Gusto's the guy for you. Thank you, guys, once again.
Thank you.
And now we're going to introduce our guest. This young chap, good-looking dude. He's got a voice, can play the guitar like a motherfucker. Justin Saladino. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's great when we got in contact. It was amazing because I've been seeing your posts. We've never met.
No,
First
that's
time we
it.
met. We have common friends.
Very much so.
We have one common friend.
I'm
Daniel.
sure there's more. I'm sure. I mean, just even within Soul Station, I went to school with some of them.
I would imagine, yeah. Rosemary, you know Rosemary?
Yeah, I think
December Rose.
We met.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I play in her band
That's
as
it.
well.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool.
we do
Yeah,
that.
she's
too.
great.
She is. So yeah, Justin Saladino. He's a singer, songwriter, guitar player. I would imagine you probably do other things as well. You probably, I don't know.
Singer. I mean,
Do you do your videos like?
I mean, I do my website. Apparently,
Okay.
at Vanier, they showed off my website as like here's a website that you should copy. So some buddies like, hey. Anyways, that's like a big pat on the back.
Speaking of Vanier, I guess we have one common friend there because Sharda is a really good friend of mine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sharda.
I've taken a lesson or two with her.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, so
She's
Sharda,
fantastic. I've only heard good things. Yeah.
I played in her band, not jazz, because she's an amazing jazz singer, but she
Yeah,
played in
for
my
sure.
band for 3-4 years. Paul, her
I might not. Did she play
Paul
with Kenny
Schofield?
Bass for a
Kenny Bass played with jazz. Yeah.
He was my teacher at McGill for a little while I had my short stretch there.
Okay. So you went to McGill for?
I went to McGill for in jazz performance for guitar.
Okay, cool.
And I did a year and a half, and then I was like, fuck this. I've got to do some music. I've got to actually write some music and put out some music. And I was just in the practice modules practicing slide guitar, feeling like a total phony.
They do. Yeah, there's a lot of practice involved.
For sure.
It's like 8-10 hours a day of.
And I respect that, and I love that. I just always felt spread too thin because it was like I got to a certain level with my jazz playing, and it was like I wasn't really exercising it in the real world.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to write songs and sing and do vocal lessons and learn slide guitar deeper, and that kind of stuff. And it was like, I can't do everything, I mean, it's just started like the guilt trip was a little bit too much, self-inflicted, but
Yeah.
So instead of doing that 50-hour big band chart, I think you know what I'm talking about. I was like, let me write an album. Let me take 50 hours to put into an album.
And get it out there. So
that's it.
Hopefully make some money, right?
Yeah, get some shows.
and write more and play more
and
shows.
do the thing that I set out to do. And Kenny Bass was actually, speaking of Kenny, a huge proponent of getting me to kind of dive in head first. I put a thank you on the album because it was Kenny who was like, you're here to do music. You're studying music to do music, and you're doing music. Like you're playing these great shows and stuff already. It's like keep fueling that, and what did he did the Jim Carrey quote? It was the one there that was like, you can always fail at your plan B, so go for your plan A.
Go for your plan A.
True. And I was really touched by that vote of confidence from Kenny, and I still think about it every so often. So, he kind of made me go, I could always come back to school if that's what I want to do. And
100%.
Hasn't stopped me from teaching guitar on all levels and playing music. So here we are.
That you're doing the ultimate goal. So you're already playing the shows, you're releasing your own music, you're doing festivals, you're doing big shows, small shows as well. That's what every musician goes through.
Well, that's it.
And that's what every artist aspires to do.
Yeah.
play shows, and you're doing that.
Exactly.
And you sound great. Your albums sound great.
Thank you,
So we're
man.
gonna
Thank
get
you.
into that right now, actually, because I checked out a bunch of songs and I saw some live videos. Yes, I stalked your YouTube.
Of course.
And it's great. So I had seen a lot of some posts from it. I had heard
Yeah.
about you because, let's face it, you talk blues in the city, your name comes up.
Nice.
Talk guitar players, your name comes up.
Fuck yeah.
So it's like,
take
oh,
it.
let me check it this out. And I saw a couple of your releases, a couple of the videos. The band sounds fucking good.
Yeah, I've got always great musicians around.
But you're the front guy for a reason. You
Oh,
sound
thank you,
great,
man.
man. The
Thank you,
guitar
man.
playing is great. Like I feel you when you sing.
Thank you.
And then when you take a solo, I feel the solo as well. And not many people can do that. So
Oh, fuck.
at
Yeah.
a young age too, I'm going to say it, at a young fucking age, amazing. So hats off. I'd like to tell people what the Justin Saladino band sounds like. My interpretation.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
It's got, I would have to go blues rock for sure.
Yeah.
But you've got a country angle to it.
For sure.
So you kind of did a mix, like country and blues had a baby.
Yeah.
But you've got that amazing distortion sound too, so
Yeah.
you can heavy it up and funk it up as well.
That's
because
it.
I hear some funky grooves too. So
It's a bit all over the map.
but yeah, always in the genre of blues rock. Like,
Okay,
you know, you
cool.
can say it's blues rock,
love
but
that.
yes, you do add.
I think that's the common denominator.
That's the common denominator.
When I have to fill out, the Spotify or
Yeah,
the
exactly.
distributor things. It's
First
usually
one,
blues rock.
blues rock. Second one, funk.
I would say
rock.
like Americana's become a
Yeah.
kind of a term lately, whatever the hell that means. Some people will say, I think Americana's been more traditionally like bluegrass music and like
yeah.
these kinds of genres that are really, really more traditional kind of folk and country. But now it's kind of expanded. Like
Yeah.
people will say like my first single off the latest album, Sink or Swim, which I just think is like a classic rock tune. They'll call it Americana. So I'm like, okay,
I
cool.
hear it. I hear the Americana.
That's it.
It is actually that's the last one I heard
Nice.
Yeah, there was I heard it before. I actually listened to it and it sounds great, man.
Thank you.
So that's the latest one that you.
Yeah, that's the first song. That was like the first single and first song off the last album.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. And you play a lot of slide guitar too, from what I noticed. There's
Yeah, and
quite
there's
a
even
bit.
more on the most recent record
Oh,
than
cool.
the first and the EP. But yeah, always like kind of bringing it in more and more. It speaks to me. It's something that's fun. It's
Okay.
challenging in
Yeah.
its own way. And it's-
Sweet. So we're gonna get into all the albums and all the releases.
Yeah.
But you know what? Before we spoke about your style, so let's hear your style. Let's hear.
Yeah, let's do it.
What you do. What song would you perform right now?
Let's do Sink or Swim. I'm already
Love it.
going for it. I'll
Let's
bug
do
Lisa
it.
since she's already standing. If you don't mind grabbing me the water,
The
or
water, the Perrier
or
right
whatever
there,
over
yeah.
there.
Right there on
Just
the chair.
behind you, yeah.
On the chair.
Thank you so much.
We can have a shot too. I mean,
We could also do another
It
shot.
always
Sure.
works. It always preps the vocals. I don't know how much I have
Especially
of this.
for this one. Can even do a little halfy, little shorty.
Oh shit, that's a
Okay.
short. That means you have to do that and another one. Come on, I have another bottle. Right?
I'll warm you up.
That's all I'm saying, man. Funny story.
I think you're gonna warm yourself up.
Oh
man.
no! Before I go on. Funny story. Last week, a whole shot ended up on
On your pants.
not mine, but the other guy,
Oh, no.
Sandro's pants.
Sandro.
Ooh, now it's gonna end up on my pants.
Cheers.
Ooh, I forgot about tequila. That's great.
Tequila's great.
That is so good. You gotta
I
have
saw this TikTok. Apparently, there's probiotics in tequila, so it's
That's why I drink it. I
So
looked
it's
for
good
the.
for you.
I looked for the probiotics.
Right, Van. Right.
Sink or swim coming right up.
That
There you
means I
go.
should drink tequila too.
Go ahead. Have a nice tequila.
we're gonna work it out. It's Gotta be some way, yeah. Come too far and far too high for it all to end this way. I'm no good at being on the losing side. This is so much more than a game. When it's live or die, it don't matter how or why. It's fight or fly away. It's how the sink or swim. I'm out on a limb. It's how the sink or swim. Ooh, there's a sheep I'm in. Back against the wall. When it's all or nothing at all, won't you come with me? Gonna make it through this together. I don't wanna live with regret, 'cause there'll be no way to pretend. When it's live or die, it don't matter how or why. It's fight or fly away, yeah. It's how the sink or swim. I'm out on a limb. It's how the sink or swim. Ooh, that's a sheep I'm in. Gonna see your call. Be there to watch you fall. We've got everything to lose. Now do all it takes to prove it to you. It's how the sink or swim. Well, I'm out on a limb. It's how the sink or swim, yeah. Well, that's the sheep I'm in.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Holy shit.
Thank you.
Wow. Fantastic. Wow, Jesus. Guys, how did you not go look it up right now as you're listening to that? You're like, Justin Saladino, where do I found that shit? Amazing. So that's usually played, of course, with a big
Yep.
band, a 5-piece.
Oh, it's all good. You can leave it.
With like a big, I think you have like a 6-piece band, if I'm not mistaken.
Ideally, when we got, if I'm
budget
being
for it.
frank, when we got the budget for it, yeah, we'll do that. Or if it's like we've got some videos coming out that I've been kind of slowly just kind of releasing. Just released one yesterday from the album launch. And that I just kind of went all out, did 6-piece, recorded the whole thing, video.
I saw a girl playing tambourine.
Yeah,
I would
you see
imagine
Maltese,
backups, yeah.
she's incredible. She does backups and she's just super tight on percussion. She's gigged with Denis Paquin, my drummer,
okay.
A bunch of times. So they just they lock in instantly. You get to the first rehearsal and it's like, oh, this already is
right.
really sounding quite good, And I mean, I could name the bands that was in those videos.
Of course.
And these are mostly the people who played on the record. You got Gab Farget, who was involved in the band for 6 years. He recently kind of took a step aside, but he's been on the last 3 records, counting the live record actually. Okay. And he's in the videos and was involved in the songwriting with Denis Paquin as well, our drummer. And we have David Osea Frifa, who plays keys with us, who's like a legend in the city right now, plays with everybody. And Antoine Loisel, who's also just just killing it in the scene, playing with everybody on second guitar.
Yeah.
But the album launch was particularly special, and these videos are coming out. So maybe this is the little.
Where was
thing
the album launch?
We did it at Pitsy Campus,
Yeah.
and we had our producer Ariel Posen come out, and he played guitar with us. And Ariel's supposed to be doing Crossroads in like a week. This
Wow.
guy's like he's the fucking shit, you know. He's a good buddy now, but I still like gassing him up and fanboying, because that's how our relationship started. It was like, dude, you're sick. Come, you know,
Please.
come, you know, record this record with me. And he was like, yeah, let's do it, you know. But yeah, he's a good pal now, and just a great guy, great musician, great producer, great artist in his own right. And we also had Brittany Kennel, who's also a great artist in her own right.
Yeah.
Country singer.
I totally know.
She's releasing her second record as well, and she came in and she sang on one song, because she sang on one song on the record half-heartedly, which I will play later.
Amazing! Sweet. I met her. I did a gig. I was on a gig where she was performing. So
nice.
We were on a corporate gig. They hired her to come and do a little set,
nice.
and I did the set after her. Like we were the band to make them dance, to make people
She's
part.
incredible.
Super sweet
She's
girl,
incredible.
like super nice. She comes in with a smile and hey guys, and like
great energy.
And she's doing really well.
She is.
Like
that
was about. It was COVID. I was playing with the Hyphens. It was COVID. And,
nice.
And she came in, did that gig, and she was, she was saying, I'm doing country music. I love it. I'm trying to get it going in Quebec. And I think within the last 2 years, she just like started really doing well in the scene. So it's a great collaboration. I would imagine.
And it's really a much more like country song on the record. I always sneak at least one in, like you kind of said. I love that stuff. Like, sometimes I write with the electric. Sometimes it comes from the lyrics, but sometimes it also comes from just like these kind of these acoustic ideas that are just maybe a little more eclectic. And I felt like her voice would just be a great fit. And
I see it with your voice. Wow.
It's just like
cool.
there's a kind of a twang thing and a certain perfect imperfection.
Gotcha.
Like we kept it on that record too. We kept it pretty loose, like especially that song. Like we were like, do we want to really tighten this up and like popify it? I mean, it's all a tight vocal, an amazing take by Brittany and myself, and whatever. But there's a certain like, it feels a little bit like you just kind of got in a room and sang it, even though that wasn't the case. With the way that we make albums nowadays. This was my first time doing. Like sending the tracks to a keyboardist and having them just send it in and just write up some notes.
Gotcha.
That was like Ariel, the producer, who was like, "Yeah, man, this is what I've been doing for years. Let's do it." And it was great.
Wow, amazing! I got so many questions now that after the song, it's like, okay,
let's hear it.
So you're the first guitar. Like already, that's not a natural thing to be the main guy, the front singer,
right,
and the first guitar player.
I guess not.
But you are.
But that's what I grew up like loving, those artists, and we can probably all guess like, Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and then eventually John Mayer came much later into that. But like, these kind of the kind of
virtuoso
and the
guitar
blues players too, right? Like if you get into the blues more deeply, it's like B.B. King is as good a singer as he is a guitar player, and so is Freddie King and Albert King. And I didn't grow up in the church singing, so the singing for me was more of a thing that I had to like take on myself. The guitar playing came first. As you mentioned, my uncle is a guitar player. He was my first guitar teacher.
And when I was, how old was I? Maybe 10 years old. I met Les. Your uncle was. So when I saw the name, I was like, At first, I thought you may have been his son.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I kept in touch with him.
That's what people usually think.
Yeah, I kept in touch with him, but. Through Facebook, so I wasn't sure. And no, it's his uncle. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to say 8, 9 years old. And your uncle was playing in a band with my older brother. So my brother was, was maybe 15 and I was 10.
Not that I'll maybe know, but what's your brother's name?
Marco Vanni.
Marco Vanni.
So
well, I think
back in Imagine, they were doing weddings. My sister-in-law married my brother.
Was it with M?
Oh my God, no, M was after.
Okay.
And M is this guy. the artist.
No, I
This
was
is
gonna
him.
I was gonna ask that, but I was like, that can't possibly. I'm just you know.
How funny.
I'm just what a guess that would be. So I kind of just held my tongue, but.
Yeah. Shout out to M. So
Shout out to M.
does this
My God.
artwork.
I
We're in
wish,
his.
Yep.
We're in his spot.
Oh, I'd love to see him. It's been so long.
Oh, so you know him?
Yeah, because John and M kept playing
Forever.
music together, and you know they play restaurants, and sometimes you go out to eat at the restaurant where they were playing and stuff.
Piatto piano, yes.
Exactly. You know, like I
And
said,
that's how I
East End
know him.
connection. Like I
Yeah.
do. I still have some roots here. I mean, not maybe here specifically. I don't know if we're really in the East End, but yeah, M, amazing artwork. I'm blown away. I didn't know that this was his studio.
Shout out to M.
Shout out.
Fantastic artwork, as you can tell, and every week we have something different displayed. But he lets us use this place, and he's a fantastic place. So this world is small because M. I met M years ago because he was a singer.
Yes,
and then through a friendship, I played with him many times. So. And
great singer.
Great singer. Ended up doing a guitar, like he would have a guitar player and a singer, and he would call Franco was his main guitar player for years, and your uncle as well would replace and would do tons of gigs. And then when I would be called, like, well, I'd rather call Stef than have another guitar player that I don't know. Like, I'd rather call someone. So I would do that Piatto Piano gig for years with M. And,
my God, small world.
So I was 10 years old, and my brother got hired by this band to do weddings and corporate stuff. And my sister-in-law Costanza is the singer, and your uncle was a guitar player. And I remember, because I was a kid and my brother was part of the band, when they hired your uncle, it was like, you guys got to hear this fucking guitar player, man.
Fuck yeah.
He's a monster. And as a kid, I would go listen to all their practices. Yeah. And I was like, oh, look at him go. Oh, he's ripping the shit out of the guitar. I loved him.
Oh, I love this.
And I think they did a show with the band Child.
Well, I was about to mention them.
Yeah. So your uncle was a main singer with Child. Well, my brother did one show.
Well, there was a female singer for a while too. I don't know. But that's the name that
Susie de Medeiros. Yeah.
I don't know like the timeline exactly, but I know. It's funny. I just saw Tony, the ex owner of Kits. Kits closed down.
Tony,
right?
yeah,
Kits
Tony
Music
Greco,
in the East End. Absolutely. I just saw Tony came out to a show recently.
Oh, cool.
And whenever I would go see Tony, there would be like the pictures. My uncle would be there, and it would be. Paul Galati.
Paulo. I spoke to him last week.
And all the guys that generation of music
Vaccaro.
in Montreal. Yeah, Charlie. I would see him there
yeah.
actually. Even sometimes he would go in and say hi, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's cool to know
world.
a little bit of the Montreal history through my uncle. I mean, I don't think I would know any of that if not for my uncle. Tony wouldn't have that vehicle to talk to me about it. And
there was a band called The Cast back then, which was quite a big rock band. My friend Sergio was in that, and Mimo. Mimo. Do you know Mimo's After Show? So he is the front singer for 21 Gun Salute, which is an AC/DC tribute band.
I've heard of the.
And he has his own album that he did, and he works with Mike Marino's on bass.
It tells me something. Yeah.
Who is Frank Marino's?
Oh, is it? Okay,
nephew.
I didn't want to guess, but yeah,
it's Frank Marino's nephew. And they all worked with Frank Marino as well. And anyway,
is Frank still touring? We opened for Frank, technically kind of opened for Frank years ago. And this is also kind of the East End connection of like my family and stuff. Adam Pasalacqua being one of my cousins, or his third cousin, one of my cousins,
great drummer,
he played with Franklin Electric, and now he's been on tour with a bunch of artists. Adam plays in my group sometimes, but we had a band when we were kids called Runaway Slide.
Okay.
And we got to go down to Omaha and do this Playing with Fire festival, and the headliner was Frank Marino.
Oh.
They were doing like a Montreal night with like Ricky Paquette and Paul Delorier.
Ricky Paquette.
And so we got on that bill, and Frank just blew me away. It was great.
Well, Mike Marino, who's his nephew, is a bass player. Was on this podcast.
Nice.
He was telling. I think I almost had tears in my eyes. He's telling me the story. He's like, "No, I was with Stevie Ray Vaughan." He's like, "My uncle did a show, and I was a kid, and I was like, oh fuck." And he's like, and he said he played guitar, and then he goes, since there was no bass, I was like, why do I want to go? My uncle's Frank Marino. Why do I want to play guitar? Yeah. He grabbed the bass and was like, I think I'm going to go with this. And then he really practiced the bass. And he did a lot of those shows. But yeah, imagine being a kid and Stevie Ray Vaughan is there. You're on stage with him.
Oh, I can't
you know?
imagine. I mean, it's like I've been very fortunate, but you know, to be in that era and maybe in some of those cities or some of those circumstances where you meet some of these legends like the B.B. Kings and the Stevie Ray Vaughans. Like I hear these stories through people. Like I've got a friend in Nanaimo, David Gogo, who's a great singer and guitar player who's been at it for so many years. And there's pictures of him at like 15 with Albert Collins and meeting Johnny Winter and Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff. And it's like,
Wow.
oh, could I have been born 30 years
It's like,
earlier, you know? But that's not how it works,
It's
right?
funny, eh? It's a small world, man. It's
And there's still amazing artists, not to talk trash about our current state of music. But you know what I mean? Like, some of those guys have passed.
Yeah.
Jeff Beck being a recent one that I would have loved to see play live and I would have loved to get to meet. But, you know.
Who's your guy? Well, I mean, it'll be a question later on, but who's your guy that you say gave you an inspiration that kicked you in the ass to practice an hour more at night?
I mean, there were like definitely went through so many phases. I always have to kind of credit early on Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Because for me, and it really reflects in my music, and people at first will be sometimes surprised or sometimes go, oh, I see it. It's just like the whole reason that I finger pick and hybrid pick acoustic, and I play open tuning and I play slide and I do country, like you said, but I also do kind of funky and rock. And it's just, that's such a Zeppelin thing. And I think such a Jimmy Page as a producer thing. He got me into slide guitar first.
Okay.
He got me into open tunings first. He got me into the blues probably first, maybe Angus Young, because Angus is super bluesy. As a guitar teacher, I'm often putting my students who even aren't necessarily like AC/DC fans, I go, check out Angus. It's flawless. It's flawless guitar playing.
It's true.
And if you like blues at all and you want to get into that, like it's such a foot in the door.
It's true.
So,
I never, you know what? First time I heard, you never associate blues and AC/DC.
Not necessarily. I mean, there's some songs, like depending how deep a fan you are, like the Jack and stuff, people will be like, yeah, that's a blues song.
But a lot of his chord progression, now that I'm thinking about it, like, You Shook Me All Night Long.
And those solos, just the inflections, you know, it's always the You Shook Me All Night Long solo that I'm teaching, because it's just like so perfect that...
Right.
I mean, I'm on acoustic with those...
Yeah, those little slides. Yeah, true. Even the chord progression is very bluesy, right? There it is.
It's like country blues, you know. Yeah. So it's really, he was a big influence for me early on. I'm talking about like I started guitar young, not a brag, just like that's just my, I started young and like I said, my uncle was my teacher. Everybody was kind of taking lessons from my uncle at the time, even like cousins and stuff. So there's like a big there's something kind of brewing in the family in that sense, and that's a thing that I'm just so fortunate for, that I as a teacher now that I can see that it's like when people talk about talent, there's like it's like, you know, just basic psychology. It's exposure and it's your setting and your place, and it's for me it was like my uncle was there, and it was my cousins were learning, and my dad plays some guitar and loves music, and so it was always there, and for me, it caught on like more of a drug than for some other people, let's say.
So what age did you start playing guitar?
I started playing at like 6 years old officially. I started taking lessons at 6 years old.
Wow. There's a guy in the city, and I'm just thinking about it. He's got very similar style to you. I'm sure you know Dwayne Dixon.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so
Dwayne's great. I love him. Such a nice guy.
I'm like, have you ever, you know?
We've played together at like jams and stuff. I don't think we've done anything like very serious before. I mean, we should, but we've jammed a bunch of times and bumped into each other.
And of course, there's the blues. There's Brian Tyler. He's a guitar player. But Dwayne is such a nice guy. I've been on some gigs where we were on the same gig with his band, my band.
He's the sweetest guy you'll ever meet.
And he started a YouTube channel, Double D's Rock.
Oh, I have to check it out.
Yeah, it's doing really well. Okay. Like it's a School of Rock kind of YouTube channel. Nice. I didn't check it out yet. I see his posts and I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta have Dwayne. I'd like to dive into that. Like it's
nice.
It's a pretty cool.
I'm gonna check that out for sure.
Like it's his guitar school kind of online thingy.
Okay,
it's pretty cool. But obviously, we can tell with your guitar playing is phenomenal, man.
Thank you, man.
It's so much fun, fun to listen to. I'm like, I want to fuck the podcast and just do a show, bro. Like I can listen all night. It'd be great. Do you ever do acoustic, like just voice and acoustic? You ever do like shows?
I do a lot. Yeah, I do a lot of those shows. The more I do kind of like opening slots, the more that happens. I really enjoy it, honestly, and obviously, like in Quebec, the chansonnier gigs, you know, it's a bit of a bread and butter for a lot of people.
Of course,
like you're talking about like Piatto Piano, that's like a chansonnier gig.
Yeah.
So I definitely still do those to you know to sharpen the chops and make some money.
Yeah.
So I love doing that, covers and originals, the likes. Yeah, I mean, I'm also thinking about what it's going to take to also do like a solo acoustic thing. I kind of want to do it at home, but there's too many motorcycles in Verdun.
Gotcha.
There's too many motorcycles in Verdun. It's become a little bit of a thing, I think. They say it's like a hipster thing. I don't know if it's that.
I don't know.
There's a lot of motorcycles. Anyway, so, you know, you could be recording something at home. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just have to rent a space and do some songs solo acoustic. But I'm writing a bunch of songs that are a lot more geared towards the acoustic guitar. I mean, I'm kind of in the process of like trying to write like a more blues album, because as much as my stuff is blues rock, I haven't really written like a blues album per se. You know, like shuffle, slow blues, that kind of thing. And in the same time, like just separating these kind of two entities of my creativity, of like also doing more of like an Americana album specifically, more of like the ballads, exercise, that kind of thing, because I really love those two things, and sometimes it feels a little bit blurry, like mixing them together. So that, you know, leaving the space to do like a solo acoustic song, which I have on the first record. Don't ask me to play it; it's been a long time. But I've got one that's recorded. It's like solo acoustic with a little bit of like a slide thing that comes in later on. But that's called "Mama Said." It's the last song on the first album.
Okay, we're gonna get into the albums. Actually, you know what?
Let's get into whatever you want.
Let's get into the albums, and then we'll have another song for sure, because I want to hear more. That's absolutely.
I've been driving so much and listening to podcasts past few weeks.
Okay,
because it keeps me so much more focused on the road, even more than music.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And I just like, I think my brain's just super jumbled, like with the way like people talk on podcasts.
Sometimes I like to laugh, and podcasts make me laugh because.
Yeah,
and you know what? Even personalities that you've met and you see them in interviews, it's 5 minutes. It's like, it's so rehearsed, and they're publicists, and you got to say this, that, you know.
For sure. I feel more that way in a radio interview, where it's like, I know that they're going to have to put a commercial in a song, and like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know if there's even a limit to this or not.
Well, there's time limits and all of that, and you got to get certain questions in and this and that. And whereas podcasts is you get a sense of how Justin really is.
Yeah.
You know, you hear how he talks, and him loose, you know, just playing the guitar whenever he feels like it. And that's cool. That's what's cool. That's why they're popular right now. So how many albums are out there?
So there's an EP, goes back to 2016, No Worries, which talk about McGill. That's when I entered in McGill, and I was like, I remember going to the library and trying to, release that independently while starting at university. So that's 5 songs, and we play most of them. They're cool tunes, recorded with Connor Seidel, who's now like a freaking big time producer in Quebec.
Okay.
So proud of him, great buddy. And we did the next record with Connor as well, A Fool's Heart. So that's the first full length record, 2018, and that's 12 songs, and it's pretty eclectic in that it's like, you know, it's kind of like R&B, soul, blues, but it's like, you know, that R&B funky thing. And then there's like these kind of country identities. Let's say Ray LaMontagne and Chris Stapleton. And that's kind of was the influences. We were talking about Chris and Ray and John Mayer a lot in the studio and these cats. And then after that, we decided to do a live record because we were doing a bunch of shows and the songs were getting like heavier live, which is what tends to happen.
Yeah, of course.
So they're just getting kind of heavier. Solos were getting longer. People were like, "Oh yeah, you got to record this." And okay, like if people are actually saying now, like let's do it. And there were some band member changes too, which was kind of changing the sound. So we did the live album in 2020. Well, we released it in 20. We
What's
recorded
it called?
in 2019. JSB Live. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's JSB Live.
I love it.
You know, and I guess that's kind of started like the JSB, like on the pics. The, just like the acronym.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, you can grab those.
Totally gonna. If I can, I'm gonna grab one.
Yeah,
for
yeah, they're
my
yours.
son's gonna love that.
They're yours, all of them.
Sweet. You throw them on gigs. That's the best.
Yeah, sometimes
Fucking
you know.
love it, yeah.
I definitely. I love when like kids come to the stage and they're like excited because I'll say like I'm giving the pics away for free. Like you know, just come grab them,
Love
say hi.
it. That's
And I love
amazing.
when kids are like super stoked about it because it's like hopefully they'll just go home and scratch something with it.
It's funny, the price of drumsticks. Like sometimes kids come up, can I have the drumstick? I'm like,
Yes,
fuck,
I
it's
know.
$15, man.
It's tough
It's like,
for
holy
drumsticks.
shit.
I'm always a little nervous when I get like people are like, oh, you know, so and so signed these drumsticks and gave it to my daughter or my
Yeah,
son,
like,
you know? And I'm like, oh no,
Yeah,
like
well.
they're gonna ask my drummer. And it's like it's not my play. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll have to give him $15 or something.
I always
you know?
keep old sticks.
I'll keep old
that
sticks.
I don't.
That's
like,
smart. Yeah.
There's splinters everywhere, kind of thing, and I'll give them one.
But
of that.
I find that's even cooler. Like, you
Right.
know, do you want a fresh, like a pick that's just like nice and worn down?
Yeah.
You know, it looks like it's been used.
Yeah,
It's cool.
exactly. Right. They actually use
Has a little bit of DNA on it. So.
So after that live album,
Yeah. After that live album, you know, the pandemic hit. It was, I mean, some people are like, oh, you should have mentioned it. But, you know, we released that album 1 week before the pandemic. It was pretty like punch in the gut.
Yeah.
But we started with that. We went, hey, look, like, I mean, this is kind of, if there was a time to try to put some energy into the U.S., I got a U.S. publicist and we started trying to get some traction and doing some, you know, did some interviews like Tower Records and stuff, which closed. I can't believe Tower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyways, blah, 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 blah. We finally came around 2022. So every 2 years, it's easy to remember, we did the Honest Lies record. So we went in 2021 with Ariel, who produced it. And it was Gab Folger on bass and Denis Paquet on drums. Like I said, 10 songs. Went into the studio at Tone Bender, which is downstairs from... I'm blanking. Anyways, it's an NDG, the great studios.
Okay.
So that was Jean-Sébastien Schwinalt's studio. Good guitar studio. He's a big guitar nerd. There's like so many amps. And so for the guitar nerds, we went into 2 amps. I brought my amps. Ariel could have brought his amps, but we just went into like a 60s Marshall Blues Breaker and a 60s Fender Vibrolux.
Oh,
like.
nice.
Just okay, cool. I don't think we need to think more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need to think any more than that. That's good enough. And so yeah, we did like, you know, as much live off the floor as we could for bass and drums, the classic thing, and then track those guitars and acoustics and vocals all in like about 7 or 8 days.
Okay.
That album's called Honest Lies.
Okay.
And it's the album that, you know, we're still promoting, we're still posting videos for, we're still doing, you know, solo versions are coming out for songs on YouTube in the next few weeks. Even next week, actually, Sink or Swim, another solo version is going to come out.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, that record has been super cool. Sink or Swim, we did some promo in the US and it got on some stations and stuff,
Amazing.
which is like Americana stations like we talked about. So
Yeah.
I guess it is Americana. I don't know.
It
you know?
is. Well,
the,
it works.
The rock people are like, it's Americana. And the Americana people are like, it's rock.
It
but
got
you
on
know
the
what?
station, so
That's fuck yeah. So, you
Fucking
know,
yeah. Awesome.
so that's sweet. And this year following that record, I just kind of put my energy into the US and I got a visa. So I've started doing some shows in the US. And
Great.
It's been a cool.
So how about
ride.
we get the next song that would
Yeah,
be
let's
on
get
that,
the next
on that
song.
show.
Let's take a little sip.
Yeah.
Or is it a tequila shot time?
You know, I think so. I think the vocals work. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, we had a little rasp on. We still have a little
I
rasp.
think it goes with the blues, right? Do you want
That's
it
cool.
full?
No, that's good. That's good.
This
It's
is
a little
really
more
good
of a sensitive song.
Oh,
so-
okay. So you're gonna feel it more, don't worry. And this is a really good tequila, actually. I really like this.
This is actually the song that Britney sang on.
Oh,
You
okay.
check out the record, and there's.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm at a club.
Yeah, that's the.
Let's get as many drinks in. So it's
That's
called,
the El Jimador.
Yeah, El Jimador.
I like that one. I like that.
Yeah.
That was like a,
Smoother.
I remember that one. That was like my parents bought that when I was not of age, and that was the one I would always sneak. It's a good one.
So this is called.
This one's called Half-Heartedly. It's a song about kind of being in love or having a spark and kind of stifling it before the shit hits the fan, and you know, just kind of saying, like, let's call it off. As you'll see, because I can't get by loving you half-heartedly. Here we go. Don't know what it is about you, but you've come my way with a knock on the door. What do you seek out there? Baby, when you look at me, I don't feel this weight anymore. Don't wanna watch it fade away. Hope we'll never see that day. Let's make a truce and call it off before it all starts to feel the same. 'Cause I can't get by loving you half-heartedly, half-heartedly. I feel you in the night and day, girl, I'm bound to you. Come on, baby, let's play. It might not be this way for too long. Worst time and place, I found you, but you got a funny way of getting me alone. Don't watch it fade away. Hope we'll never see that day. Let's make a truce and call it off before it all starts to feel the same. 'Cause I can't get by loving you half-heartedly, half-heartedly. We've been down this road a couple times before, but something feels so different this time. I'll pick the pieces up off of the floor. Can't seem to make them fit quite right. I don't have the answers, you don't have the key. You were my tiny dancer, now all our steps feel off beat.
That was really good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that one belongs on. I mean, it sounds great with a band, but it has like a identity solo acoustic. It's just
wow, sounds great.
Thank you.
I'm staring at your guitar.
Thank you.
Vocals are great. Lyrics are beautiful.
Thank you, man.
Your guitar playing is like, it's rare that someone who's doing singer. Usually it's like, you know, three
that's
chord.
it.
You're doing some fucking heavy, complex shit on the guitar there.
It definitely gets in the way. There's definitely a process for me with writing that's like, God damn it, dude! Like, do you have to do that? Like, I can't play my songs very easily. Like, it's always a bit of chasing the dragon, you know, chasing the muse. I think chasing the dragon is much more of a drug term. Chasing the muse, like in the sense of like I'll always write things that are a bit like outside of my scope ability wise. And then it's like, okay, if you want to do this fucking album and you want to do this song, you're going to have to practice, buddy.
Yeah, and you got to play it live now.
And you got to
right?
play it live. So like just playing sometimes those like
it's
those things while singing, it's just like it's a bit of a you know, I'm doing it wrong. That's just a bit of a this thing, you know. But I love that because like I grew up on, like I said, like Jimi Hendrix, who's just like sometimes it just doesn't make sense, you know.
Yes, but Jimi Hendrix didn't have to pour his like, because I saw the guitar playing and I know like just as a guitar player alone, learning that is like, oh, that's a lot of work.
That's it.
And it's, but you also put emotion into your voice and to your vocal. You felt what you were singing.
Thank you, man.
And to separate that is, wow, like.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Appreciate it.
Honestly, really, really. You need to be on more American stations. You need to be all over the States, all over Canada.
Working on it.
Because you got something.
Thank you, man.
Something special there. Something special.
That's why I think I'm kind of, you know, giving away the behind the curtain, but you know that's the point. Is that I'm really excited to do something that feels a bit more like an Americana record. That is just like, hey guys, like here's my acoustic ballad singer-songwriter side. Yeah. And here's more the blues side, because I feel like some people get a little bit confused, and we're talking, you know, a handful of people, and that's okay. But you know, I definitely get approached as like the blues guy, and I'm super grateful for that. And I've done some really great stuff because of that, and it's a great community full of listening, passionate music lovers, the blues community, and full of blues festivals and all that. And that's been my upbringing. But sometimes it's like, I feel like people will, like, they'll take a kind of glance at the music and they won't discover that there's like, you know, always 3 or 4 ballads on the records, and there's like, and some of those are like very acoustic folk or country folk songs. So I'm kind of like excited to hold up to the world, like here's a blues record,
one, and then
here's an more acoustic driven record.
I grew up listening to Extreme. That was my rock band. And Nuno Betancourt's the guitar player, right? And so that song, More Than Words, was the song that, you know, and everyone was like, and I got into them, and it's like, oh, that acoustic band, because of that song. I'm like, actually, they have 2 acoustic songs on the record. Okay. The rest is hard rock.
So they had like the opposite effect.
Opposite effect. They wrote, he's just a great guitar player, and he loves all kinds of guitar.
Yeah.
And so he'll play slide guitar. He kind of your style, right? He just likes that acoustic thing too. So he wrote an acoustic song, put it on the album. That's the one that hit. But no one knew Extreme as a hard rock band. But they were hard, like heavy. His distortion playing was just as phenomenal. But and it's good. And I guess it's a great idea to separate and say, hey, you know, this is what I do here. That's what I do there. You can book this show, that show, or both,
that's it.
Right?
That's it. You know,
amazing. I'd like to get into a little segment. Because now we get into the laughs. Now we start laughing about the music business.
Okay.
And one of the segments, the first one is called Worst Gig Ever.
Okay, worst gig ever.
Yeah. So it's kind of like something funny or something like that. There's a mishap. It doesn't have to be playing wise. Yeah. It could be. I mean, if you want to say, you don't have to. I don't mean it as a mishap that, oh my God, I forgot my lyrics and I made them up.
I got some ideas as worst gig ever. I mean, there's some that I'm sure if like I had a buddy here, because I'm so bad at remembering these, like, remember that one night, that crazy. I'm so bad at that. I think I just go like flush.
I don't want to remember.
I mean, I could probably talk about a few of them pretty quickly because they're probably not super big stories. But I remember once we were like, I won't even say where because I still play that festival. We play bigger stages there, and it's a great festival. But we were out in Ontario doing a festival, and it was our first time there. So they put us on like the street stage, you know, and they had it set up that it was like 2 small tents over the stage.
Okay.
And it started pouring.
Yeah.
And the sound guy was, you know, he was just, he was, you know, well, not the sharpest, but gotcha, you know, he was a sweet guy. Lots of love.
He tried his best.
He's trying his best. And he just decided that in the moment of us starting to panic and like stopping the show and starting to like tear down, he decided to, actually before I'd say what he decided to do, mid-show, before we actually stopped, my drummer was sitting right in the middle of those 2 tents. And so the water splashed straight onto his snare mid song. And you know, he just smacked it water everywhere, and then at some point he did stop. You know, I mean, much as I want to be like, he didn't stop. Rock and roll show must go on. I mean, there's a freaking limit.
Yeah,
you know,
there's a limit. Point. Absolutely.
And so, you know, his poor snare of God knows how many hundreds of dollars.
Shit.
I took it and he flipped it, and we stopped. And so then, yes, the sound guy had a bright idea, and it was to come on stage with the broomstick. And start hitting.
No, are you kidding me?
And so my bass player, he like caught him and caught me, because he was hitting it and it was about to go right down. It went about a foot away from my pedal board.
Oh my God.
Which I'm admittedly one of those, like, you know,
I already see it.
Pilots.
Yeah,
I've got the, like,
there's about 100 hours of investment in that pedal board.
Yeah,
a pedal board is, I don't know, it's hard to say, like, it's your baby. It's tweaked for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And you add this and you add that, and it's so meticulous.
That's it.
And it's funny, I was on a gig 2 weeks ago with Albie. I don't know if you know Albie. He's a guitar player.
No,
Passarelli.
I don't think I
Italian
do.
dude. He played with Mitsu. Really good guitar player.
Nice.
Yeah, very, very good. And he was doing a show, a Johnny Bodo show, and we were playing before him, and he had his pedal board. He had a dual setup of his pedal board just in case.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I do
but
that
he had the plastic and the tarp underneath so ready. Sun outside. There's no chance of rain.
Smart guy.
He's just fucking ready. Albie had everything folded ready, that if I'm like, Albie, what is that? He's like, oh, dude, if there's a bit of water, I just go like this, and it was ready to protect his pedal boards.
I know. I've seen some people. The trick they do is they get like those transparent garbage bags.
Yeah.
And then they just cover their board with it and just make a hole for the wires.
Yeah.
And then it's like you can see everything and turn it on if the show must go on. 'Cause some of those big festivals, it's like there's no real risk of getting electrocuted unless it starts, you know, like you get a thunder.
Oh, I've had it all, man. I've fucking had
Well,
it. I've had it where the water fell on the mixer. So while we're playing, it's like, and it's like, and this
Smells,
was like 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Smells
this
like-
happened. Yeah, at a camping gig, I'll never forget, which you never expected. We play at campgrounds. It's like you set up and there's nobody there. And like, why are we playing? There's a tent. You play the first song and all of a sudden
Everybody comes
1,000
literally
people,
out of
like,
the woods.
and it's a party like you've never seen it. Like, okay, anyway. So water came down and this guy is
So he's like slamming it, and we're like, no, dude, what are you doing? Let us just pick up our stuff. You can
do that later.
Clear the water after.
shit.
Yeah, another one I'll say was in another city. I don't know, whatever, Torreal, and because fuck her, she was really, you know. When we were doing a show, we were doing like just this duo show, and you know, you play a restaurant, you expect somebody to come greet you, a waiter, the owner, the manager. It's just like, hey, we're working for you, you know, like. Hey, thanks for having us. I'm super polite and
would you like a bottle of water?
Yeah, just like the whole thing. Like, what were your expectations for the night? Like, can we talk? You know, my email's a bit vague. Maybe my contract's a bit vague. Like, can I talk to you about it?
Yeah.
So I had none of that. We start our show. It's a little very kind of go off in that corner, play your setup. So we do. And there were some people there, and then we did our song, and maybe I wasn't super clear. Like, we did a nice ending for the first set, like an ending.
Yeah.
And she comes out after I've, you know, schmoozed with the audience, sold some CDs after that first set, and people head out because it's a festival. They head out, and she comes up to me, and she goes, I think we maybe even started the second set. She goes, there's no fucking point in you doing the second set. People left because you didn't make it clear that you have a second set, and so they're gone, and you just lost me a ton of business. So I'm not gonna pay you.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna pay you half because that's all you did for us. It's half. I go, Madame.
Go fuck yourself.
You know, il y a un festival, il y a d'autres shows.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
people came for their dinner. They had their dinner. They saw the show. There should be maybe a second wave of clientele.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you,
it's
but
your business,
you not paying me
is not
is
good business.
really, and not coming out to say your intentions and say maybe do a 5-minute break or don't do a break, do one long set.
Something.
You know, which is classic in restaurants. Like, do one long set if you don't mind. Like, we just, keep the people here and that's it. Wow, that was the worst. That was like the pit in like the stomach feeling.
It hurts.
That was the worst.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I know.
The water is like almost, unless it would have gone on my pedal board, it wouldn't be so comedic.
Yeah.
But it's more comedic. But that one was like,
when you're dealing with someone who's a dick. That's
just no respect, for the fellow man, for the fellow worker. It's, I kind of get we've worked in restaurants enough. That's the funny thing of like, I've never worked in a restaurant, but I've worked in restaurants enough to kind of like know how to approach the situation.
You don't pick what people do. It's not your fault if people leave.
No,
or they don't.
It's really not in those contexts.
And if the restaurant is empty, like they think because they're spending money in a band that it's going to fill up their restaurant. Well, where are all your friends? You hired music, like. If you put the radio on,
like background music half the time,
right?
People are talking and they're not even clapping,
right? And it's like, okay, hold on. If you put the radio on, do you expect people to come because you put the radio on? I mean, again, live music will bring a crowd
for sure, and there's an ambiance that people appreciate.
Yes, but I don't bring. I'm a musician.
I mean, it's also like it's not like a show in that regard. It wasn't like the festival stage next door.
Exactly.
Like.
But
headlining the whatever. It's
but even I have people that'll come and watch, but you think I only play your restaurant that's paying me $100 to $200?
Yeah, well, that's it.
You think I only do that restaurant? I do 5 of them in a week because I need to make a decent living. Because your $200 is not going to fuck all.
No, that's it.
Am I going to ask my whole family to come every single night of the week? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, am I gonna tell everyone? Come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You think they're all going to follow me to every little place I play? It's not going to happen.
No, it's not how it works.
So I'm hired to do music and I will gladly
create an ambiance. And that's what we did. But
it's your job to publicize and get the people there. Right?
Fuck that.
Yeah. Fuck that.
There's great restaurant managers and owners.
Exactly. So
let's have a lot of fun playing music.
Let's go into another segment. We'll keep it. I have 2 more segments, but one is going to be really quick. It's called First Thought. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and the first thought that comes to your mind, you're going to go with. So it's going to catch you a little bit off guard. Some are easy, like favorite food.
What is my favorite food? I don't even know. Like probably steak, probably like meat or something, or like a good beef soup or something.
Beautiful, nice. Okay, favorite movie.
Forrest Gump. Let's do Forrest Gump.
Good one.
I mean, I could have said Lord of the Rings because we just watched the show. Actually, I love those. But Forrest Gump is it's
a tearjerker. It's a great movie.
Yeah. It's cheesy in all the right ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we're getting somewhere. Favorite lyric in a song. This one's gonna make you think. That's Lisa's question. She came up with it.
Favorite lyric in a song,
and it could be yours too.
Oh. I mean, I probably know mine better. Oh, favorite lyric in a song? No, I don't even know where my brain is going right now. That's such a good question. I will prepare that next time.
It's a tough one. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Oh, I probably say it all the time. I probably go like, "Oh, that's so cool." Oh my God, I don't even have.
How about something cheesy like every rose has its thorn?
No, yeah. I'm just thinking like John Mayer because I think he's just such a great lyricist. Like it's crazy with him. Like, yeah, no, John Mayer. It's like some people get annoyed of all the John Mayer love, but it's like
he's so good.
Beyond the guitar playing and stuff, which I love, and I got into him so much later. That's a thing too that people probably don't really realize when they go like, "You love John Mayer, don't you?"
Yeah.
But it's the lyric writing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like something in like Heart of Life or like, oh, Stop This Train. Something in Stop This Train is probably just, just so beautiful. Oh, fuck. I can't even think of the lyrics. I'm not colorblind. I know the world's black and white. I mean, like, that's amazing too in itself. There's so many good. I can't even find one. I'm sorry, Lisa. That's an amazing question. And
I saw a show with John Mayer. It was what's Van Halen? What was the singer of Van Halen?
David Lee Roth.
Not David Lee Roth. I love him. He's
I'm
really
picturing his face, and I'm like just blanking.
He's got a podcast.
He does, and it's interesting. And
it's a really good podcast. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Michael Anthony's a bass player. Eddie Van Halen.
I could picture his face.
Oh my
and
God!
not his
Yeah,
name.
I hear his
Help us
voice.
out, Lisa.
Lisa, please. Van
Producer.
Halen, starting with the 1984 album.
You even know down to the album that he started.
Yeah, I totally know
come
Dreams, all
on.
those tunes. I know his. I know his voice.
I don't know,
big
he
time.
played with
Sammy
Joe-
Hager.
Yeah.
Sammy
Motherfucker.
Hager.
I'm faster than Google.
I know he played with. I was going. Okay, Joe Satriani. They had
So
a band
he did
together.
a show. He did a. It was like a put together show. I think Ringo Starr was there, but there was all these monsters playing.
Okay.
James Hetfield was on the gig.
No way.
Some Lady Gaga, and they played Janis Joplin's song "Piece of My Heart."
Nice.
And then they all took some solos. And there was like, Tommy Lee was playing drums, I think. Ringo Starr, Tommy Lee. They had a bunch of all-stars. And John fucking Mayer, I can't remember who the guitar player was. There was another guitar player. And John Mayer was playing the ukulele. And stole the fucking show with a ukulele solo.
Of course he did.
Like, he's like, yeah, and sang a couple of notes. And I was like, why the fuck did he steal the show out of all these all-stars with a ukulele? Like... You're all playing your instrument. I'm playing this little toy. And he murdered it. Like, he's so good. So I'm going to go to my next question. If I say best guitar player of all time.
Oh, there's so many facets to that it's so tricky.
Yeah.
We were talking about Mayer, so I have a hard. He could be like in that list, but I don't want to say it just because we were talking about it. But I'll go to like SRV in his own way, because nobody can be the best guitar player of all time.
Yeah, true.
There's something about SRV that's so like, it's so detailed, and it's so, everybody will be their own player, their own person. Whether they're a shredder and they like Guthrie Govan, who's probably like the best guitar player in the world. But SRV, like, he's got his tone, he's got his sound, and it's so perfected. So maybe we could go with SRV.
Stevie Ray Vaughan's the guy,
He's
man.
like, it's just,
he's the dude.
It's ridiculous.
I get a lot of Jimmy Page, but Stevie Ray Vaughan, I think, is the first one.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we'll
Jimmy
get to
could be too.
Yeah,
he's an perfect player.
That's what I love
and
about him.
I love it. But he's very versatile. There's so many good guitarists.
Yeah. Of course, that's why.
But yeah, the first to come to mind, maybe because I just listened to like a Post Malone with Joe Rogan, and he said Stevie Ray. But like, no, I agree with that to some degree.
So, what's the first thought that comes to your mind when I say the name Carlos Santana?
Oh, yeah, come over. What's the first thought that comes to mind? Yeah. I saw him live when I was like, 10 years old. I went with my dad. Mm-hmm. My dad warned me. He's like, Yeah. He's like, it's a percussion show. Yeah. And I could not take my eyes off the drummers. It's three percussionists just fucking killing it.
Heavy Latin stuff.
So good. So when I think about him, I think about that show being side stage, like.
Because some people throw the word best guitar player. For me,
really,
yeah.
It's also a very, like, if you say he's the best guitar player, you're saying again like what I just said at what he does.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen him play a chord in his life.
Exactly.
So
I've never seen him not play an A minor or E minor either.
But that's it. And it's the same with Stevie Ray. It's like, I know that he couldn't hang on the David Bowie gig because he was so his thing that he couldn't like just play major 7 chords, And that's okay. Like I love him for that. And that's where it's like a guy like Mayer, or like if you get into the shredders and stuff, you get into the Satrianis and the Guthrie Govins and stuff like that. The Vise. It's a whole different game. So it's obviously so subjective. And when I'm teaching guitar, I always say, if you like him or not, I don't care. Learn David Gilmour.
Yeah.
I could have said David Gilmour. Oh, I could have said David Gilmour.
You could have totally said,
Because on all levels, David Gilmour is fantastic. Yeah, so perfected and nuanced. Yeah. I say learn David Gilmour, learn Angus Young, like I said, because so detailed and the sound of rock guitar. Mm-hmm. Learn Carlos Santana because they're all like masterclass songs,
Yeah. He found a way.
Like,
he found
the changes and the everything.
He found a way to make the guitar. Look, let's face it. Yeah, Samba Pati, man. Let's find a way. Like, let's find that. He found a way to make the guitar. I don't want to say cool, but how many guitar players become that popular?
Oh yeah, and I mean it's still like album? I don't
like how many instruments. Yeah,
like it's still a hit.
How many instrumentalists?
It's still sampled and it's still like just he's the king of playing iconic lines.
Absolutely.
I think that's
the same
where
line
it's
in
like-
every song.
Maybe, you know.
Well, I mean, if I've heard one of his solos, I've heard them all.
Yeah, you know what, but that's because he's found his sound. I mean, that's a
it's
thing
great.
that so many of us who have like studied music and have done the deep dive, so many of us like will completely look over that. And this is like where if I'm like, you know, I'm always a student. If I'm trying to like find something and after dropping out of McGill and being like, okay, I don't have to learn every fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like these guys, they repeat it, and we can say like, oh, it's all the same thing. Like even for David Gilmour, or
Everybody
whether
does
it's like
that. Everybody does that.
they found their sound, you know, and they found their style and their voice. And Carlos is like has one of the loudest.
Absolutely.
You know, it's so.
And there's an art to that. So
I mean, I can't figure it out. I don't know. Like, you know, not many of us can figure out how to be like so incredibly identifiable.
yeah.
It's such a gift. It's like a BB King. Like I just play it. And you're like, yeah, it's BB King.
Oh yeah,
you know,
BB King. Yeah.
You're like that's Albert King. You know, it's so instantaneous. Maybe that's because there was less music made at the time. I don't know. But no, there's players like that.
Absolutely.
You know, and
even
Santana's
like
one
that drum beat of Billie Jean.
Yeah.
You know, that drummer, I can't remember his name, but the black dude who plays with for Billie Jean, he plays on top of a drum machine.
It wasn't like Steve Gadd on that one.
No,
or
it wasn't
something,
Steve
no?
Gadd. It was so Toto did that album, but the drummer was, I can't remember his name. He's on Drumeo every day. Like I see a video of him, but he literally just laid down the track on top of a drum machine. So it's and he got that sound because he played it with a drum machine. But it's so iconic. Nothing there to say that you're amazing. He's a great drummer, but to say that, wow, that blew me away. It didn't. But that
it's
sound,
how it's done.
the minute the hi-hat, kick, and snare come in, it's like, oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
And it's the simplest 2/4 beat. And
It's that Santana thing. It's the same like
Yeah.
that.
Hey,
And you're like,
exactly.
woo,
Woo, Santana, where are you,
let's
buddy?
go. You know. So I mean, yeah. No, I hear you.
So now I'm gonna get to my
Some
last
great guitar
segment.
players. We got to mention Derek Truck. So, anyways,
Okay,
Derek
there's so
Truck's
many,
so
right?
good.
Okay, I'll give you a quick. This is a quick one. Your favorite live show that you've seen?
Whew.
It's a simple one.
I think it's kind of tied, but it's like Tedeschi Trucks Band live at the Beacon Theater.
Okay.
It's definitely one of them. John Mayer live in Toronto on the 2019 tour after Search for Everything. Incredible. And Chris Stapleton live at the Bell Center.
That was recently.
That was
Yeah.
last year.
I have to say that Tennessee whiskey is. I was in the States
Yeah.
a month ago, and I think I heard Tennessee whiskey 19 times a day. Great tune. We play with the band, and it's
Of course.
great song. Every musician played it.
It's played to death. It's played to death.
death. But anyway,
I have a hard time, like, so I'll do it if like people really like scream for it, but I have a hard time touching it because I'm such a Stapleton fan, and like the way he does that,
Really good. Yeah.
that line, I'm just like, I don't even want to touch it. It's just too-
he's
too
iconic.
perfect,
He's got
yeah.
a great yeah.
He's one of my favorites.
Oh, good, cool. So now this is the last segment. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna say real quick. It's not gonna be real quick because this one's gonna stump you a little.
Yeah, and I don't shut up. So,
But no, it's a fun one. This is really fun. This is a Fearless Sounds question. So you have to put together your band, your all-time favorite band, with every instrument, every player, and it's your style of band. So you can have 2 guitar players, you can have a keyboard player, you can have whatever, 3 backup singers. Name who it is that's playing in that band, dead or alive, whoever's around.
yeah, I mean, I gotta go like, it's crazy because like I could practically pick John Mayer's band because like that's so
The whole band.
that's so I mean, because I was like, okay, my brain went John Bonham, Steve Jordan for drums.
Yeah.
But I really love Aaron Sterling. You know, he's really an incredible, like, probably one of my favorites. Okay, let's say just fantasy, like John Bonham, just because, like, fuck,
hard hitting.
Let's just take history and everything out of the like, just because.
Sure,
I would love to play with him.
It's a power tune. Yeah.
John Bonham, on bass. Oh, God,
Bass is always a hard one, eh? I always find it's
it's tough. I mean, it's also, is it? Because it's like Pino Palladino is still like the guy.
Yeah.
You know, there's Willie Weeks, obviously. Think about
Nathan East.
Nathan East,
Nathan East
incredible. I mean, I even think of like Tal Wilkenfield, if I'm saying it right. You know, I think about like the Jeff Beck record with like, you know, Ronnie Scott's, and Tal's amazing, and it could go anywhere if she wanted to.
Yeah.
But
also it's your band. So,
it's my band, yeah.
So if you have
like my
like
music and, you know.
But if you have a monster guitar player, great, you know, singer in the front, like who would be fronting your band, let's say, other than you? Like if it was other than me, who would be the band you'd want to see? So you can't, like, you know, if you have a bass player who's playing all over the
like
place,
a band I'd want to see, is that the question more than like backing me up?
Well, I mean, I'm sure 3/4 of the players would probably be
who I would want to want backing me up. Yeah, I would, you know, man, like a John Bonham would be incredible, and
absolutely,
and a Pino. Imagine hearing them together. What the hell would that be like? Right? That's, you know, might mix better with Tim LaFave actually. You know, and a keys player. I mean, Larry Goldings could be like, you know, he does everything. And but who passed away, rest in peace, Kofi Burbridge from Tedeschi Trucks Band. You know, does some really amazing
Herbie
stuff.
Hancock.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even go there because he's just so like, you know, but yeah, Herbie does everything too. Like there's some great albums where he's like stepping outside of his bag and just killing it.
You know, it's funny. I play with we have a common friend, Daniel, and I play in Daniel's band, and I play guitar as well.
Okay.
And Herbie has the same guitar.
Nice.
So I sent Daniel a text saying the picture with Herbie and the
okay.
guitar, and I said, dude, he saw me play with your band, and fuck, he had to go buy the same guitar as mine. You know?
It was all because of you.
All because of Soul Station, man. Yeah. So we got a keyboard player, and then who's fronting? Who would front this band?
I mean, I would love to just be like,
of course,
I'm fronting this band. You know, I want to.
Or how about this? Who would be your favorite other than you? Who's your favorite front person? That's a good question.
Yeah, of the past or of now or of ever. Or of, oh boy, there's so many. Yeah. I mean, you know, if we take like songs and we take just like voice, I mean, I'm just thinking maybe because I saw her on Instagram, but like somebody like Joss Stone is like such a singer and performer.
Good, yeah.
You know, like put her with a band like that, you know. I mean, I'm sure she has an amazing band, and I know she's done some music with like Questlove and stuff. I'm a big Robert Plant fan, like, you know, like in his prime, especially. I mean, he's still in his prime. He kills it. I know. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for John Mayer. It's like I'm not going to build John Mayer's band. That's so cheesy. You know, because I think I identify with like the singer, guitar player, songwriter thing. That's what it is, you know. But I just saw Stapleton at Lasso.
Okay.
And just like he could sing anything. I'd love to see him sing anything. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you could put together a band where it's like probably now, if I'm thinking just a bit differently, like John Bonham with like Chris Cornell.
Sweet.
You know, you could do something like that. With like a guitar player, like who would be the guitar player? Or two
guitars, you can have a rhythm and a lead.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, you could have like...
You could be lead and have a...
Yeah, I would love that. I'll put myself lead in that.
Hey, Jimmy.
Who would be the other guitar
back up
player
while I play here.
in this formation? I mean, for rock music, I still love like Jimmy Page.
Yeah. Are you a Van Halen fan?
Not as much as I wish I was, because he's incredible. Yeah. But I never got super deep into it or learned that stuff. I wish. I always kind of go like,
Yeah, I saw him live. I was a heavy Van Halen fan.
Yeah.
I was disappointed with the show. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, that's too bad.
The band was great. He just was on something that night. It was a rough night for him.
I saw them live with David Lee Roth when they did like a reunion tour years ago. I barely remember. Yeah.
And actually, because I saw that show, Sammy Hagar, he turned me on to Sammy Hagar. The guy can fucking sing, man. He's a great singer. I like David Lee Roth as a show guy, but as singer, Sammy was like, whoa, holy shit.
Man. But, I totally didn't answer your question, but that's okay.
No, that's all right. You skated around it.
I skated around it.
You did mention a lot of names.
I mentioned a lot of names. Too many names. I'm just still like with my music, like, is it a rock band or what is it? You know?
Okay, here's last question.
Yeah.
If you had to sing next to a female vocalist, who would be the one, dead or alive? Yeah, like if you had to do a duet and say, I would love to do, I don't know, Barbra Streisand, just whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Dead or alive, singing to a vocalist, female vocalist. So many that I love.
I see Sheryl Crow in the same style.
Ooh,
as you, right?
that's a good call. She didn't even flash, and I love her. Yeah, Cheryl. That's actually, yeah, just because
Would that
like
be it, really?
just no, like, yeah, because mixing, because I was going like Casey Musgraves, I love, and I'm like, that might be a bit of like, I'm sure it would work, but I really like Maggie Rogers these days. I really like Emily King.
Yeah.
I'm like, that could work too, you know. And then I'm like, you know, Joss Stone, because I just mentioned her. It's just incredible.
Beast. She's
just a beast. She just make me look bad. That's all it
she does all her
is.
shows barefoot. It always freaks me out. I see her play. She's barefoot. Like, what the fuck?
No, but Cheryl, just there's like a raw energy that I hope I capture to some degree, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that about her. Like, oh, she's a great singer. We don't have to, you know. But there's like just like a bit of like an uncut raw
Melissa
kind of.
Etheridge.
Oh yeah, she's great. I mean, I haven't gotten super deep into her music beyond what I've heard on radio.
Neither
but
have
like,
to be honest, I
know she's done some bluesier stuff too in her later years.
Absolutely.
If not, or also in her earlier years. But.
You know who's good too? Amanda Marshall.
Amanda Marshall too.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's so many. No, I listen to a lot of female singers, but Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow. Ah, sweet.
Oh, speaking of favorite lyrics, probably like, you know, put on a poncho, played for mosquitoes, and drank till I was thirsty again. That's fucking awesome.
There you go.
Drank till I was thirsty again. That's such a fucking good line. So see, I do this all the time. Like I go, oh, I stopped the song. And my girlfriend like, did you hear that line? You know, but
She's like,
but then when it comes to shove, so I'll say like, yeah.
you're gonna go to bed tonight and you're gonna be like, I have an answer for that
I
question.
have an answer to that question, but I think that's a good one. Drank till I was thirsty again, or
Love it.
played for mosquitoes. Drank till I was thirsty again.
I love it. Justin, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Sure, here.
Where do we find all of Justin's stuff? Social media,
Yeah,
website?
honestly, everywhere. You can hop on the website. It's pretty self-explanatory, and you can get on the mailing list. It'll prompt you, but you'll see the gigs right away on the website, and
Sweet.
so you'll see that we're playing in Verdun at a theater that would really like you guys to come out to.
Sure. When is that?
That's October 19th.
Amazing.
It's at a culture center in Verdun by the water.
I really want to come and check you guys
That's
out.
going to be a great show, and we're going to have my buddy Jeremy Sigouin on guitar. So we'll be a 4-piece that night.
Thursday night.
That's a Thursday night, correct? Yeah, that's a Thursday night, and yeah. So we're on all the social medias for the most part. The most used are Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
Okay.
So
And all your
Twitter,
music's-
Threads. I'm working on it.
Twitter.
You know.
Okay, and
Or
all
X,
your
I
music.
should say.
X, yeah, no, it looks cool. I have to say that.
Yeah,
app
X
looks
is kind of cool.
So, and all your music's, of course, on Apple Music.
It's
Spotify.
everywhere. If you want to buy physical copies, you go through my website and it's going to bring you to Bandcamp. Right now, that's my distributor for physical copies.
Okay.
You can also just write me.
Oh,
You can
sweet.
also just write
That's the way
me.
to
I
do
mean, I'll send them right
Like
to you.
email kind of thing?
Yeah, or like just on any of those Facebook, Instagram. I'm going to see it. TikTok, YouTube, I'll see it, and I'll you send me the cash and the address, and I send you the
That's
CDs. I'll throw a pick in. And
Old school.
Yeah.
Old school. I sell you what you want, man.
why not? I've got T-shirts too, and sweaters, and
cool.
the whole shebang.
All on the website
yeah,
as
all
well?
on Bandcamp as well. Exactly, but
Okay.
yeah, so
Should
Instagram,
do you want me to put
Facebook.
your phone number or email or?
Nah, maybe not the phone number, but but yeah. You can
Hi,
reach out.
Justin. I heard you sing.
Reach out on the socials. I'm
Okay,
all
on the
over
socials.
those, and a lot of videos coming out all the time. So go hop on those and say hi.
Amazing. Thank you once again for coming on the show. Sound great. Keep it up.
Thank you, man.
Because fucking rock and roll. October 19th, I'm putting it in my calendar. If I am not gigging, I'm there. And I really want to come. You captivated me. So, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for doing Sessions with Stef. Lisa, thank you so much, guys. Go check out Justin Saladino. Check out all his music. Buy his merch. Buy his album. Support local music, guys. Please support local music. We need to have more money, especially since the days of making money on an album. We lost it. So it's a revenue stream that was taken away from all musicians. Fucking sucks because we work hard. You see the amount of hours just in the songs that he performed. You see the amount of hours he must have worked to do that. And there's no money on all that originality. Like, let's keep it going. If you can't support him, send him, buy his album, buy a t-shirt, whatever it is. Let's support all music. Go to see live shows, make there be money, make the restaurants and the owners and the festivals pay for the musicians what we I don't want to say what we deserve, but I don't want to say it's dying, but it's not in the schools anymore. There's less and less of it. There's less venues that have music. You know, when I was a kid, there was 20 venues in the city that had music. Now there's like 8. And those 6 are duos, you know?
Yeah.
To go see a big live band, there's like 3 places in the city.
It's true.
We need more of it. And the only way we get more is if it brings in money. Money speaks. So if you go support live music, they have more budget to hire a bigger band or a better band or whatever the case may be. So please, guys, support. Thanks for supporting. You can also support Session with Stef. You want to call me on social media, whatever the fuck. Send money. We're in, man. We'll sponsor you. We'll talk about your company. We'll do whatever you want. So Sessions with Stef. Let's Talk It Out is our sister podcast. You can go subscribe to that. We also have a Likubare podcast, which you can subscribe to that. It's all over Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. Subscribe to all 3. Once again, thank you so much for listening, watching. Give us feedback if you have anyone you want to see on the show. It'd be a pleasure to have them. So yeah, that's it. Sessions with Stef is now done. So thank you very much and have a good night.